It was supposed to be one of the most important and joyful events in her life. A high school graduation is probably the first big event in the average person's lifetime. That's exactly what Angela expected. She wanted the cap and gown, the congrats from relatives, the diploma, and all the other stages in an average high school graduate's life. But her bright expectations will be faded away due to a dark reality. Angela, while you're in school today, just remember, be aware. A lot of strange things can happen on the last day of school, Angela's father told her, giving her a cold stare. Since it was the day of Angela's high school graduation, Angela's father has been trying to warn her all week about a school shooting that he thought could happen. When her father was in high school himself, he witnessed the school shooting, which could be why he was so paranoid. I guarantee you there's some angry geek who found his 4 years of high school to be unpleasant. He's planning on coming in and killing as many as possible on this last day you all see each other, he continued. Angela giggled. Dad, come on, nothing will happen. Most of the kids at my school are harmless and are not the toughest people in the world. Angela's dad gave her an annoyed expression. You don't have to be tough to walk into a school and start shooting, he snapped. Remember what happened at Columbine High, he asked. Angela stood there silent. She saw him reach into one of his pockets and pull out 2 silver necklaces. They were bright and shiny, both having a blue crystal sitting in the middle of the round circle that was attached to the chain. Angela's father handed one of them to her. Take this for good luck. These necklaces were custom made by your great-grandmother, which means you won't find them anywhere else. I've been holding on to them for years, waiting on the day you graduate. I'll wear one and you can have the other, he explained. Angela smiled and gave her father a hug, walking out of the kitchen and on her way to school afterwards. That afternoon, all of the students of Nightwood High were in their classrooms, preparing themselves for the graduation that was soon to come. People were putting on their caps and gowns, chit-chatting and laughing, just excited about their first big step in life. Today is the day, Angela thought. She gazed down at her silver amulet around her neck and began thinking of how much her father must be proud of her. But her joyful thoughts were interrupted by a loud explosive noise that seemed to catch everyone's attention. The classroom went silent. The happy expressions went blank and mysterious. Angela jumped in fear. They heard the noise again, but this time a student came running into the classroom screaming at the top of his lungs. It was a student Angela was able to recognize instantly. His face and cap and gown was splattered in blood. Everyone in the classroom began screaming and yelling in fear as they all dashed towards the exit of the classroom, including Angela. The loud noises continued, striking even more fear into the students each time. As Angela hurried out of the room with the screaming crowd, she suddenly found blood splattering in her face. She glanced to her right and saw a masked gunman pointing an assault rifle at the crowd. When seeing this, Angela tackled her way through the students and hurried down the opposite direction of the hallway, leaving the other students behind. She glanced back while running and saw kids on the floor, screaming in pain as they bled from the penetrating bullets. She saw even more dead and lifeless corpses of high school students lying on the hallway floor as she trotted further. Since the gunman was blocking the only way out of the school, Angela decided to make her way to the cafeteria and hide in the kitchen. On her way there, it was absolute chaos. Students trampled each other to death. Even more dead bodies of students Angela once knew laid everywhere, and she could even see some of the teachers assaulting students to save their own lives. When Angela made it to the school's kitchen, she heard a rapid banging noise, along with someone screaming. The screaming sounded so horrific, it made Angela hesitant to keep walking. Reluctantly, she did continue into the area. The screams and the loud banging got louder as she trotted further into the kitchen. She followed the horrific sounds of screaming and banging, which led her to a large oven. As she made her way over to it, she screamed after seeing what was next to the oven. There was one of the lunch ladies on the floor. Her lips and eyelids had been stitched and sewn shut, so she couldn't scream or call for help. Her arms had been dismembered and her ankles were handcuffed to a large pipe nearby, so she couldn't crawl away. All the lady could do was hum and flop like a fish. Shocked, Angela couldn't take her eyes away from the scene. She had to get a hold of herself to keep from screaming too loud and letting the gunman know where she was hiding. "Who could do this kind of shit?" Angela cried. When looking through the transparent glass on the oven door, Angela almost screamed again. Inside the oven was the other lunch lady who always helped serve the food every day, screaming in excruciating pain as she baked alive inside the giant heat box. Angela jumped and stepped back quick as the lunch lady banged on the glass and did all she could to escape the pain. Angela could see the lady's skin blackening and becoming extra crispy. Angela tried to help the burning lady out, but she soon discovered that the door was bolted shut with a thick chain and lock. The control panel had also been torn out so the oven could not be turned off. The lunch lady in the oven soon dropped dead right in front of Angela's eyes. Angela began to cry. The lady's body now looked like a giant piece of burning charcoal. The school sounded completely silent now. Anyone still inside the building was either dead or hiding. Angela heard footsteps outside the kitchen. She trotted to the doorway and peeked around the corner of the wall to see who was coming her way. It was the masked gunman. She hurriedly dashed back into the kitchen and squeezed herself into one of the large wooden cabinets nearby. As she stood inside the cabinet, trembling and shaking, she listened to everything going on outside. She heard the gunman walk into the kitchen, then past her. She slightly cracked open the cabinet door and peeked outside to get a closer look at him. He went over to the lunch lady, handcuffed to the pipe, and pointed his assault rifle at the armless, flopping body. After putting her out of her misery, he glanced inside the oven and started walking back out the kitchen. As the gunman came past her a second time, Angela observed him. Wait a minute, this guy looks like a middle-aged man, Angela realized. Why would a middle-aged man want to come and kill off a bunch of high school kids, she wondered. But she also noticed something else, something that made Angela feel like her heart had stopped. Oh my God, she thought. While looking at the gunman's chest, she saw her great-grandmother's silver necklace around his neck.